Hoy visitamos al artista Hovagimyan, uno de los principales referentes del New Media Art. Vengan conmigo.
Language is always, it's alive. I mean, people speak it, they change, new words come in, whatever. But the same thing with visual language. Visual language is dynamic because people are communicating, so they're always talking about things. But what do the artists do? See, now the artists now look at this and they say, okay, well, positionally we have a whole new visual language. All information is there. It's not presented necessarily in an art gallery. You can take all of the media, photography, painting, dance, architecture, 3D, everything, it's all in virtual space. And you also have physical space. So now you have both things happening and they're all over the world. So the artist goes, oh, this is global. I can do this. I can do 3D environments. I can do physical interaction, you know, augmented reality, which is what I showed you.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it begins to be much more interesting in terms of new parts of the language of the world to explore. The other part to it is that as an artist, you know, you always take a political position, but your work, just by being an artist and working in art, it's a political position. Because you're not doing corporate marketing. You're not trying to sell a product, you know.
Exactly.
You're making art, right? Which is, people don't understand what that is.
Is it maybe what you're saying is like you said, a statement and on itself of which position you take in society.
Exactly.
And your opinion about it as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly. You can see that the painting behind. And then this is an augmentation. Painting is a marker, and it's actually 3D. So you can move in and out towards it. See, and that's 3D, right? That's a self-portrait. This is a discourse for what painting is, the painting space.
Yes.
And the virtual space, the screen space.
Exactly.
So essentially what you have is, you have an appropriation, these are Joseph Albers paintings.
Yes.
The discussion is Albers sort of painting space because he had this kind of idea of colors as coming in and going out and formal colors. The funny thing is when you go to art school, the first thing they do is they teach you Joseph Albers in painting. Okay, that's so if you go to art school, you know Joseph Albers.
Yeah.
So that's like the kind of the language of painting or modern painting or whatever, right? And then, so then I decided, well, okay, fine. Then we have a virtual space, the net space. And that, how do you put the two together? There's a real kind of funny thing about this.
All right.
Because the Joseph Albers, if you go to their website,
Yeah.
right, there's a big sign that says, warning, do not copy, you know. It says copyright this and that and the other thing. So I looked at that and I said, come on, you're putting something out on the internet. It's totally public. What, you don't think people are going to, of course they're going to copy it.
So you went ahead and copy?
Yeah, they'll copy it, you know, so what, right?
It's a profession, it's fair use.
Yeah, but this is also essentially another discussion which has to do with fair use.
Yes.
But also in terms of the actual language of art.
Yes.
You know, because Joseph Albers is part of the language of art.
Exactly.
So me doing this is what traditional artists would do. They go to a museum, they take a canvas, they copy it, right? Same thing. Then the web came along, the internet, and I started making net-based art, you know. And that's where I started doing websites. And I did, my first kind of website was a piece called Faux or Fake Conceptual Art. So basically what I did, and this was '93,
Yeah.
So I started to remake conceptual art pieces, okay? And I put it up on the web as a, kind of a web appropriation, but they weren't really remakes, like that piece over there is, for instance, is a faux conceptual art piece.
Yes.
And that's for a takeoff on a Joseph Kossuth, where he had a piece, it's his signature piece, market piece. It's 3 chairs, there are 3 states. He has a photograph of a chair, wooden folding chair, a dictionary definition of a chair, and then the chair, right? So I did a redo or remake of it, and that's a photograph of a chair. Then the word sit on, kind of like a sign, I've simplified that. And then I cut apart the chair and reassembled it like a cubist chair. Okay, so that's the discussion. It's kind of, but the point is that the faux conceptual art, the fake conceptual art, what it was is that it has 3 parts to it. It has the physical objects.
Yes.
It has the internet information piece, which is a proposal to make the artwork.
Yes.
And then I have a boxed set of small proposal boards that are, it's like Duchamp's boîte en valise. It's actually the proposals for, little objects.
Yes.
A lot of times in the 90s I was working with Peter Sinclair, but we were doing these kind of performance art pieces, installation performance called the soap opera for laptops. And essentially what we did was, we took laptop computers, we put them on radio-controlled cars, we used them as robot performers. We programmed them so that they used text-to-speech and then speech recognition. So they would talk to each other. The discussion basically on that was the way people project or humanize or anthropomorphize. They make human machines. They kind of try to make machines human, and they have some sort of relationship to it. The other place is the question of what is virtual information space, which is that all information is now equal, okay?
Yes.
And it's there all the time. If it's on the internet, there's no time when it's not there. It's always there. You just go get it.
Exactly. It challenges the idea of space and time, right?
Exactly. And all information is the same. So, my artwork and Museum of Modern Art, they're the same. When you go to the internet, you look at them exactly equal, right? Which art world really hates. They can't stand that, It's essentially a interactive browser, which is also a hack. It's a post browser. It doesn't use Netscape. You notice that it's physically interactive. You use your hands to move the objects around. And now if you look, you'll see that in the center is a cylinder. And that cylinder is actually an infrared scan of, you'll see there's my face there. So essentially what you're doing is I'm in 2 places. I'm in a physical real world and the virtual world.
And do you have nostalgic for the old times? Or you don't look back?
Okay, no, I'm never nostalgic. No.
No nostalgic?
No, the best time is right now. The best time is right now. And I have, for me, like since I do this new media art, all my friends are younger than me. They're all in their 30s and 20s, right? And I feel very comfortable with them. When you get to people my age, and I tell them what I'm doing, they go, their eyes glaze over. They don't know what to think. They keep on having these revival shows like, oh GH, come to art, and I'm like, oh no, I really don't want to talk about the past, right? Because the kids and young people, young artists, they're making the whole world. It's great. I mean, I look at them, I get inspired, I do some work, they like me. Everything's fine.
Y así terminamos nuestro capítulo de hoy. Nos volvemos a ver el próximo jueves y no olvides suscribirte a Cosmoarte TV. Chao, chao.